Hello, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of game and interactive media design. And this is the part of the shebang where we go in and edit some Photoshop. Okay. So this is our diffuse map, which pretty much came from our 3D model. It came from kind of really dumb colored materials from 3D modeling. So what we might want to do is actually change a few things. Like I want to fix this annoying curvature here so we don't have it. And I want to fix this really weird line here so we don't have it. So what we're going to learn in Photoshop are a couple different tools. Let's start with layers. This is our layers panel. I am going to unlock that layer, the background layer, because I just like to. I like to unlock things. And you don't have to, but now that's layer 0. I'm also going to call it something else. I'm going to double click it and call it base map. And the next thing I'm going to do is create an empty layer above it by clicking this little plus button on the bottom right of the layers panel. Create a new layer. It is an empty layer on purpose. I am going to cover up all of this brown because I don't want it. In fact, I may cover up most of this black now that I think about it. So maybe I'm going to do that. I am going to do that by, now why would I do that? I am going to drag this layer 1 underneath the base map, and I'm going to double click layer 1 and call this brown. And the next thing I'm going to do is pretty much say edit fill. And I'm going to fill that background with brown, and I'm going to click contents. What am I going to fill it with? I'm going to fill it with a color. And what color am I going to do? I'm going to grab this brown color here with my little color picker and say okay, say okay. Now after I do that, I'm going to click my base map. Ew, I don't know if I can do this. Yeah, wow, I did it. I'm going to take my base map, and because it has black here, I'm going to just say, lighten. I'm going to set the blend mode of the base map to lighten, and what that does is it sees through all of the black, okay? I can do this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to show, like, all that black stuff, because that's not being mapped onto my barrel. So I'm just going to say lighten, yay. I'm going to add another layer, and I'm going to call that brown fix. Because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the clone tool, which is the clone stamp tool over on my toolbox. And I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to point out that I can use my bracket keys that are below my plus and minus keys on my keyboard. So my left bracket makes a small brush, my right bracket makes a big brush, and if I hold down Shift left bracket, it creates a really soft brush, and Shift right bracket creates a really hard brush. So those are some things I'm going to be working with, and what I'm going to be doing is covering up all these little splotches. And so I'm going to hold down Alt and grab left click from this brown here, and what that's going to do is going to allow me to cover up these little things. But before you do that, you might not have been able to do what I just did. And so one of the things you need to do when you have the clone tool enabled is to come up to your tool options on the top of your toolbar in Photoshop and change what used to say current layer to all layers. And that allows you to use the clone tool on a blank or empty layer and grab stuff from below. So again, what I'm grabbing, I'm holding down Alt, left click on the brown somewhere, and I'm going to left click. And you can see as I left click and drag, that little reticle, the little plus to the right of my circle, is actually grabbing brown, okay? And I'm going to let go again. I'm going to do the same thing here. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm basically keep alt-clicking and left-clicking and dragging. Alt-click and drag. Alt-click, click. Alt-click, click. Alt-click, click. Alt-click, click. Will you ever get tired of hearing me say alt-click, click, alt-click, click? No, you won't. Yeah, just cleaning it up. I'll show you what I'm doing in a second once I'm... Whoa, I didn't want to do that. Alt-click, click. Okay, if I turn off everything, this is what I've been doing. Oh, this looks like somebody giving the middle finger with a really huge finger. All that does, is it uncovers that stuff right there. Make sense? Okay. So I'm going to zoom in here. Anywhere where there's stuff I can cover, alt-click, click. Like this, right? I'm going to want to get rid of that. Oops. There. I made a little mistake there, but I'll fix that later. I'm going to give myself a hard brush by going Shift, right bracket, right bracket. That really didn't help. Come on, Shift, right bracket. Boop. Yeah. You don't want to see me do all of this, so I'm going to pause it. Yeah, and that's really annoying, so I'm probably not going to continue doing most of it. Uh-oh. Okay, good. Thought I was going to have a bad thing happen. So that's brown fix. I might add a new layer, empty layer, or double-click it, and I might call this, what are those? Hoop fix. Hoop fix. And I'm going to basically do something similar, but instead of fixing those brown background, I'm going to drag a little guide down to make a very straight line here. And another one, let's say, well, I can't drag that. I gotta zoom in and kind of place this just like that. And I'm gonna drag another one down here. Yeah. And another one there. That kind of makes sense. I am going to try this. Let's go like that. Okay. And the goal is, I'm going to select all of this. Okay, well, I'm going to get closer when I select it. Left click and drag a marquee selection all the way across. I wanted to get close enough to really hit that guide that I dragged down. And by the way, if you don't see the guides, you need to see the ruler. And so you do that by saying View, Show Rulers, or View Rulers. And it's going to show you these rulers. And that's how you can drag that guide down, by left-clicking from the rulers. Alright, so I just selected this bit directly in between these two guides. And I'm going to, guess what? Fill. I'm going to go to Edit, Fill. With a color, again, I'm going to click that drop-down menu, to hit color, and I'm going to use my little color picker to pick from this color and say, okay, and I just filled that entire selection with a nice straight line. I am going to do the same thing with here. Don't select that. Huh, why are you selecting that? There we go. Drag it all the way across. Wow, this is long. So, the other day... Oh, there we go. Okay. And I'm going to say Edit, Fill... I know it's the same color, so I don't have to do the color picker again. I'm going to say okay. Yay! And while I'm up here, I am going to zoom in, not so far this time. Yes. And grab this. Why do you keep doing that? Okay, so I have to zoom in. There we go. Gonna try to make this go fast. Come on. Okay. And I'm going to now insert or edit fill, not insert, I keep saying insert, and I'm so sorry, with a new color, and it's the color of the brown background, because, oops, yes, yay. And so now that should look much better, much straighter. In fact, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to pause it while I do it, though. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to save it as a Photoshop document. So I will say File, Save As. Don't show this again. Save on my computer. And I'm going to save this in maps. It's going to be LP Barrel Diffuse map02.psd. Heck yes. Save that as a Photoshop document. And now what I'm going to do is save as a Targa. LP Barrel Diffuse Map 02 TGA. And you know what? I don't know why it's called Map 02, but I'm going to call this Map 03 because I've updated it. And again, what it used to look like is this. But now it looks like this. And so what I'm going to do is import that. Import Map 03. And in my material editor, I'm going to replace it. Oh, that's one way of doing it. I guess I could do it this way, yeah. I'll show you a different way of doing it later. There we go. And let's just see how that looks once we save this material. Now watch in here, in my viewport, click File, Save. And it should tighten that up. Now the reason why it's not perfect here is because we have some shadow maps that also need fixing. But before we do that, I'm going to show one last thing with my diffuse map. And that is I might want to change the color of the brown. And so what I might want to do is add or change the hue saturation. So I'm going to add a hue saturation adjustment layer. Now, hue saturation adjustment layer can adjust the hue and saturation of all of the colors. Or, if I want to be really nice and really cool, I can click this master button and click, oh, I don't know, I'm going to start with the yellows. But I can actually enable this. Oh, and then it only adjusts the yellows. Now, really, it's the browns that I want to adjust. So I am going to set this back to -0 or to 0, and use this color picker to click on this brown color, and you'll see it adjusted this color spectrum. That's what I want to change. So I might want to make this less saturated, increase the brightness, and kind of change this to a yellower. I have to find yellow. That's yellow. Like a yellower, lighter wood. Can I do that? Alright, so I saved this, or I adjusted the hue, the saturation, and the lightness. I'm going to set this back to a Targa with no alpha channels at the moment. Let's click Save. Yes, I want to... No, I'm going to save this as 03. And I'm going to, yes, replace it. And let's say that's okay. Go into my Unreal Engine... import, and now what I'm going to do is right click the last one I brought in and say Asset Action I'm going to say re-import with new file. Click the next one and it's going to update it right away. Alright, in the next video we'll have more fun. Bye!